I do a lot of recording and creating. So I put out an album almost every year, if not 2 albums a year, because I just can't stop creating. There's always new songs coming to my head. But I am able to, with the technology, we're able to release our own albums on iTunes. For instance, this is one of my latest Spanish guitar albums. It's called Flamenco Light and Heavy. It's a split album. One side is on the lighter side, I would say, very light-hearted instrumentals similar to the Gypsy Kings or Ottmar Liebert or those kinds of artists. And on the back side, it's a little bit heavier. It's the same photo, but just a little bit edgier. Same kind of stuff, except for I incorporate a few more instruments like a bass and maybe a drum kit, and I just take a slightly more aggressive approach to my playing. However, I'm very proud of this. It's available on iTunes, and I'm very proud of this also. This is an album that is that came out this year. It's for sale in Costco stores nationwide. So it's put out by the label Somerset Entertainment, which is out of Canada, and it's a 3-album disc. It's very nicely priced, and my album is the first disc in the series, and then we have artists, gypsy artists from Spain is the second album, and the third album is a nouveau flamenco artist. His name is Armic. All 3 albums are incredible. Of course, mine is the best, but it's an awesome collection currently for sale in Costco, and if your Costco doesn't have it, just ask them for it and they can restock it. So and then that brings me to the last album that I just released June 6th, and it is a solo album, although it's under the name of my band Flametal, because it's just me. It's 2 tracks of guitars with some authentic flamenco percussion. So it's a very flamenco guitar instrumental album, but I cover some of my favorite heavy metal songs by my favorite artists. For instance, Slayer, Megadeth, Iron Maiden, Rainbow, Yngwie Malmsteen, Scorpions, Kiss, Ozzy Osbourne, Queensryche. It's all in there. I also have a nice appearance by Billy Idol's guitarist, Steve Stevens, who's an excellent guitarist. So I'm very, very proud of this. Currently, I'm getting reviews on magazines like Metal Hammer and online magazines, Guitar International and whatnot, and they're all giving it great reviews, which I'm very, very excited about. So I'm happy about that. And like I said, I'm working on 3 more albums currently, and I have a very interesting process of recording because of the technology that's available to us now. I've always had a theory that it's in the performance, not in the gear. So I will take a guitar like this and I will plug it in. It has a microphone on the inside, so I don't need a nice soundproof studio like you have here. I just go into my kitchen and I set up my laptop and I plug the guitar straight into my laptop and I start recording. And I don't have a big computer set up. I don't have fancy mics. I don't have fancy anything. What I try and do is I really try and put my heart into my performance, and hopefully that will come out on tape, and then I'm able to release it straight to iTunes. It's really, really a wonderful thing, and artists like me aren't getting ripped off by some of the bigger record companies because we just don't need them anymore. So it's wonderful. Obviously, people are buying whole albums a lot less and buying their favorite songs from iTunes a lot more, which is not necessarily a bad thing, I don't think. I just think as artists, we might have to change our concept of getting the music across. For instance, personally, I think that the next trend for a musician like myself is, instead of working a full year and trying to create 10 or 15 songs for one album, instead, I might just release a 3-song EP every couple of months, and as I go. And that way, people are constantly being inundated with new music, and they can choose to either get it or not. And if they're only going to buy 2 or 3 of the best songs on the CD anyways, why not just release 2 or 3 of the best songs and then work on 2 or 3 of the best songs from the next album? Why put a bunch of filler in there when you don't need it? So I think that's what I'm going to start doing as far as my iTunes releases and online releases. I always love making CDs. I love the smell of getting them new. I miss albums. To tell you the truth, I miss cassette tapes, but we just don't need those anymore. So when I do an event, I bring CDs with me. I always like to give free copies to the bride and groom or the client, and maybe to the caterers, because they're usually working very hard also. So, and then I have them available for whoever might want to buy or whoever's interested in them. However, I think most of the listening audience will be buying their stuff online, and I plan to cater to that. Well, as you can imagine, I've played probably hundreds of weddings, mostly since I've been with PartyPOP. But actually, I love weddings. One thing, everybody's dressed impeccably. Everyone looks great. So it's usually in a beautiful setting, in a beautiful area. It's usually on a very nice day or a very nice, comfortable environment. I'm always comfortable and taken care of. It's the wedding coordinator. She's the one that's getting nervous and having a fit, or he, or whatever. But I am usually very comfortable and relaxed. I have a lot of fun meeting the bride and groom and their friends and family, and being, for me, I consider it an honor to be part of such a special event in their lives, something that they're going to remember for the rest of their lives, and I'm going to be part of that memory. So it's also important for me to be there on time and be looking good and have my music together and have everything set to go, my sound system and everything, just so no one has to worry about that. There's plenty of other stuff to worry about. As far as the institution of marriage is concerned, I think it's a great institution. It's a great idea. It's unfortunate that a lot of people decide to get divorced, maybe a few years later. But that's not really part of the wedding process at all. Nobody wants to think about that. I don't want to think about it. So I think weddings are super cool. I like doing them. I don't love playing the wedding march after you've played it a couple hundred times, but I play it with a smile on my face, because if they love it, maybe I can bring my own interpretation to it, and I can put my own heart into it, and it won't be just your standard muzak or elevator type music. It'll be something special, and still I can play what the client asks for. Well, when I do a performance, you can hear anything from Santana, the Gypsy Kings, Sting and the Police, authentic flamenco, stuff like Otmar Liebert, the rumba flamenco, nouveau flamenco, however they call it. Anything that has a Spanish guitar, I'm fairly fluent in, and you can hear classical repertoire. I like to spice it up with lots of various genres and forms and songs. I will do covers from these artists also, so my clients will hear some of their favorite songs, or at least the guests will hear tunes that they're familiar with. And I will be playing a lot of original material, anything from something like a very tender ballad to a very complex classical style piece, or something that sounds straight from southern Spain.